Hey, what's up? Welcome to Degen Ed. That's degenerative education, meaning none of this is financial advice. Just me having fun looking at charts like the chart behind me, which is of Biora Therapeutics, ticker symbol BIOR. And here we are looking on the weekly time frame, and we did close the week on Friday, March 1st at a price of $1.15, being down on the day just over 12% and continuing that downtrend almost 1% down in the after hours. But over the course of the week, as you can see, we had a green candle going up just about 35.5% over the course of the week. But we did put in this topping signal with this big wick to the upside. However, I do think there is one thing that stands out that could suggest we will get a test of, right around $2 over the course of next week, perhaps on Monday. So I do want to go over that. However, it might be a little bit of hopium, so don't get your hopes up too high. But I do think that there is some significance in it, so I do want to go over that pattern that stands out to me, but that is on the daily time frame, which we'll go over in just a minute. And so one thing I did want to point out while we are on the weekly time frame is that we do have all of these wicks over here. We were not able to close the week above them. And so I do think that would be really good. We did, however, get a weekly close above the high for this week that closed January 26th. The high for that week was $1.10. And so closing the past week over $1.10 at $1.15, I do think that's really good. However, I think it would be really, really good if we could get a weekly close above the levels here, right around $1.50, or specifically, the high for the week that ended on December 1st was $1.61. So if we could close this coming week above that level, I think that would be really strong. But I do think it is good that we at least close the week above the high here. And so now I do want to switch over to the daily time frame so we could look at this pattern that looks to me like it could be very bullish. So in the last video that I did, which I believe came out on Wednesday, February 28th, I did suggest that we could be seeing a double top. And I expected that to play out sooner than retracing down to $1.15, but it does look like we did get a blow off top to $1.99, and we have pulled back. However, if we look at this pattern with this big green candle up going up 46.67% on the day and then pulling back over the course of the next 3 days, this pattern is referred to potentially as the rising three methods. And so since we did put in a close of $1.15 for this last day on March 1st, which is above the open of February 27th, which was at a price of $1.09. Since we did close this red candle above that low, that suggests to me that this downtrend was really just some consolidation before a potential move up, creating another big green candle like this that would result in a rising three methods. And so I had covered falling three methods multiple times on the channel. You could search that on the channel to see what that's like. I have not yet seen, in making these videos, a rising three methods, but this could be exactly that. And that could also bring us to getting a double top, testing $2 again. So, I am thinking that might happen, but, we'll get to find out on Monday. If we do see a big green candle, that could be it. And I do think that if that happens, that is an indicator that price will continue in that direction. So with this being a rising three methods, that would suggest a continuation to the upside. So we might be looking at a pretty good week coming up. However, we could also be continuing to the downside. And on that note, I do want to go over some levels that stand out to me. I do have a lot on here, but I just wanted to go over them and see where they overlap. I did do an updated retracement from the bottom here at 75.6 cents up to the high of $1.99. And I do want to note that this retracement that I have here in yellow in the last video, it was actually drawn incorrectly. I drew that down to 75.25 cents. And I want to also note that the reason why I go to the exact cents cents or fraction of a cent with these levels is so that you have examples of them, and so you can draw them exactly as I do in your charts rather than just doing them approximately. I have the exact numbers here so you can look at the exact same levels in your charting if you would like to. But anyways, I am going to go over the levels that I have here that do stand out. And so what really stands out to me, especially as far as like identifying the top here at $1.99, from this yellow retracement, I do have an extension, the 1618 here, that goes up to $1.94.9. And so that was a good indicator for the top here. We did get a wick above that level, so an order could have been filled there before pulling back. And then also from this orange retracement, which was from the pre-market and after hours squeeze range that we saw on November 30th, the 382 level from that corresponds to a price of $1.85.4, and that would have also been a good level to trim or sell a position before it pulled back. And then also, if I do adjust the axis here, we do see the 236 at a price of $2.0321. So that was just above the high that we saw of $1.99. But all of those levels do seem like, they were pretty good at identifying the top. And, you could assume that this one being on the upper range may not be hit. The one right in the middle was a good level to keep in mind. But anyways, now that, this top is behind us, we are looking at levels to the downside. And so that's what I will focus on, where we might find a floor before then moving higher. And so I will explore higher levels at the end of the video, but I just wanted to go over levels to the downside where we might find support. And so in the last video I put out on Wednesday, I did mention this level at $1.15, corresponding with the, I believe, lowest close over here that was hit on December 6th. Does seem like it acted as a little bit of support over here before we broke down, and now it does look like it's acting as support again. And really, in all honesty, a big reason why that level stood out to me is because I happen to have it in red here, and it just stood out amongst the other levels that I have. And so I do think it is nice that we did arrive at that level, but I also do want to point out that that low of $1.10, we did get a wick below that on Friday, hitting a low of $1.06. And so that, was a good level to be finding support, either at $1.10 or $1.15. They do seem to be significant. But then, moving forward, where do I think price might be settling at? I do think that it could come down to the next level that I have drawn up here, which is the 236 from this retracement, and that is at a price of $1.0376. But just below that, from this white retracement going to the upside, the 786 is at a price of $1.02.01. And so that may very well, the confluence of those two levels might be serving as support if we do continue down more. So that is something to keep in mind. There are levels to the downside as well, like 93 cents or the previous low of 75.6 cents. But I'm hoping that we do find a floor if we have not already found it before continuing higher. And then so levels that stand out to the upside to me would be the 50% level from this white retracement here, and that is at a price of $1.37.3. That does also seem to coincide nicely with this orange level from the retracement over here. That is the 786 at a price of $1.36.11. And, I have referred to that level a lot. That does stand out to me as being a significant one. And we did open, let's see, at $1.37. So right in between those two levels. And then we did close, unfortunately, below. So I do think that is going to be a key level to be getting above, the range of $1.36 to $1.38, really. And then just above that, we do have three levels here, one of them just being the psychological level of $1.50 that I have marked in orange. But then just below that, from this yellow retracement, the high that we hit on December 28th was $1.49.3. Actually, I am noticing that this should be $1.50 because the high on December 28th was $1.50. So I'm just going to adjust that. Let's see. I am not sure why that got screwed up. I didn't have it locked in place apparently. Okay, and so now that's adjusted to the correct level. Sorry about that. We can see that $1.50, does coincide with those two levels. It had acted as, psychological resistance, I would imagine, on December 28th, so something to keep in mind. And then just above that from this retracement is the 382 at $1.51.86. So really, if we are to be moving higher, I suspect $1.50 will be acting as resistance. And then again, just above that from this retracement is the 618, and that is at a price of $1.56.6. So really just a number of levels there. And then continuing higher, we do have the 236 here at a price of $1.69.88. You could argue that was another level of resistance that we could not get above or close above. So really any of these levels to the upside are going to be ones that we want to be paying attention to. And I should note that this yellow one up here is now adjusted to $1.95.98. So do keep that in mind. But really all of these levels being right around $2, that is going to be a tough level to break above. But if we can get above it, ideally getting 2 consecutive closes above $1.99, the previous high here, we might be moving even higher. And so some levels also, likely hopium to the upside that we might be hitting. One is $2.32, which was the high that was hit in the after hours on November 30th. And then also just beyond that, from this yellow retracement, I do have the 2618 at a price of $2.70.38. So, if we are able to have a large green candle on Monday, and we are able to complete this rising three methods, closing at or above $1.50, I do think that we could be seeing further upside into the week after Monday. And, it is quite possible if we close the week above $2 a share, we could be moving to these higher levels like $2.70 or perhaps, like the psychological level of $3. So pretty crazy. I don't necessarily think we're going to get there by the end of this coming week. But if we do see a rising three methods, I do think that we could be seeing $2 again, and I do think that could be happening over the course of this coming week. But, those are just my thoughts. If you found them helpful, make sure you like the video, share your thoughts in the comments down below, and subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. Thanks a lot for watching.